Hi, I'm Royal.
Hi, I'm Erica. Today we're going to be installing base plates on this Jeep Wrangler so you can tow it behind your RV on your next vacation.
Let's get started.
You'll need the tools seen here to complete this installation. With our first step, we are going to remove our front bumper fascia. To do that, we're going to start by removing these two 8mm bolts. There's one here and one right here.
Our next step is to remove 8 push pins on the edge of the belly pan. We'll be using a trim panel tool to assist us.
When we're removing these push pin fasteners, make sure we remove the entire part of it, not just the head of it. Next, we'll be removing these two bolts using a 16mm socket.
To remove this metal plate, we'll have to push up on it and pull out. Next, we will be removing the 2 push pins located behind the tow hooks.
So directly behind our tow hook, there's 4 nuts holding the bumper to the frame. We're going to go ahead and use an 18mm socket to remove those.
And we'll repeat these steps on the other side.
On the passenger side frame rail, there is a wiring harness that we'll need to disconnect before we remove the bumper.
Next, we'll be removing the 2 bolts on the outside of the frame rail using a 16mm socket.
Next, we're going to be separating this harness away from the frame rail.
So now we're going to take our base plate and align our top front hole with the weld nut. So now we're going to take our 10mm bolt with our lock washer and our flat washer and place it into the weld nut. And we'll repeat these steps on the other side. So now we're going to tighten these bolts, making sure it lines up with the bottom hole on the base plate. A helpful tip is to pull back on the base plate to make sure the holes line up when tightening. Repeat on the driver's side.
Now, with our base plate secured, we are going to drill out this remaining hole using a 1/2-inch drill bit. We'll be using the base plate as the template as well.
So now we have to bring these flange nuts into this hole, but the nut is too big, so we're going to have to widen it using a step-it.
Right now we're going to go ahead and let that hang out for now. The next step is we're going to place our spacer block between our base plate and our frame rail. In order to do that, we're going to have to loosen this bolt. Now that we have our spacer block in place, we're going to go ahead and place our 1/2-inch bolt with our locking washer through that. Okay, so in this next step, it may be a little tricky. If you have to, you can bend this pole to get your flange nut lined up with the back of your bolt that you just inserted. But we're gonna go ahead and get this lined up right now. So once we have this hand tight, we're going to go ahead and repeat the same process on this hole. We're going to use a 1/2-inch bolt on this one as well, along with a flange nut. We're just going to feed the flange nut through the hole on the bottom of the frame rail. All right, and now that we have this hand tight, we're gonna repeat the same process on the driver's side.
So now that our 1/2-inch and 17mm bolts are in place, we're just going to tighten and torque them to the vehicle manufacturer specifications. And we'll repeat these steps on the other side. And make sure you cut the remaining wire on the flange nuts with tin snips. And we'll repeat that on the other side.
We're going to take our provided safety cable. We're going to wrap it around the frame rail of the vehicle. On the passenger side, we do want to be sure to not loop it over the harness that's here. And then we are going to also use the provided quick link and attach it to the base plate itself. And we're going to repeat the same process on the driver's side.
With everything completed, it's now time to reinstall the front bumper. However, if you want to continue wiring this vehicle, I recommend leaving the bumper off because it makes it a lot easier. If you want to see us install the wiring, click on the link.
And now with your base plates installed, you're ready for your next adventure.
Enjoy the outdoors and we'll see you out there. If you have any questions about the products seen in this video, or if you'd like to schedule an installation with a U-Haul Hitch professional, visit us online today at uhaulhitches.com.